Hi everybody, I'm Deacon Dave.
Layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show from Ribadeo.
Day 2 in
Day
Ribadeo.
2, same place. Debbie is at the hotel room recuperating, convalescing, whatever you want, whatever the right word is.
Yeah.
And Lisa and I are back out here in the frigid waters of the Ribadeo. Take a look.
The River Ribadeo.
Yep, we're gonna get in for a third day in a row
before we leave the water.
Yes, and so so we got a taxi back today to our same hotel, and we walked 12 miles. We're going to be up at probably 12.8 now.
Yep.
Probably get close to 14, I think.
Yeah, by the time we get gelato and everything. Yep.
Right, and so today was one of the warmer days that we've had in recent weeks, Lisa.
Yes, it was.
And
but you know,
go ahead.
It's so funny because on the trail it was like 67 degrees.
Yep.
So on the trail it felt very hot, because it was, miles and miles, and we had a lot of uphill. And then when we were done with the trail, we had our pickup to take us back into Ribadeo, and the taxi driver recommended a restaurant, so we stopped there first. And then when we got out of the restaurant, we were freezing. We were wanting to sit in the sun, which was complete opposite. We were totally seeking the shade during the walk.
Yeah, it's sort of like that perspective that we talked about.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, that's this whole everything is about perspective. It's kind of being revealed.
It is, and the first 6 miles today were relatively easy. It was cool. It was not too many hills, and then the sun came out, and we got to this hill that was 800 feet in vertical elevation. And yes, everything came to a grinding halt for our group of 5 as we worked our way up the mountain.
Yes.
So, any thoughts on that, Lisa?
Well, it was a long mountain. It was steep in parts, and it just calls us to continue to grow in perseverance and endurance and patience, and just asking for strength from God to help us to continue onward. And that's what I was, sometimes we what does tomorrow look like as far as our path? But as long, I just try to concentrate what we're doing at the moment. I don't necessarily look ahead until maybe the night before, just to see if there's some shortcuts, or if or even sometimes the morning of. And I think that's what Jesus wants us to do, right? Because he says, don't worry about tomorrow, because today has enough.
Yeah, and there were no shortcuts today.
There was no shortcuts.
And often in our spiritual life, there are no shortcuts.
That's true, yeah.
As much as we may want to take the shortcuts, God's going to maybe have us walk through difficulty and or suffering sometimes, even though we don't want to. There's many times where you get to these Camino arrows, and as you're approaching, you can't see which way the arrow is. And you're so you're looking to the right, and it's uphill. And then you're looking to
us today.
Yeah, you're looking to the left, and it's downhill. And you're boy, I sure hope that arrow is to the left. No, for 800 feet, the arrow was always pointing towards the uphill direction.
But the funny thing is, there was a point where we were coming around the corner, and the arrow was pointed to the left, and we saw a downhill. And as we're yes, downhill. And then as we got closer, we saw it was just a little dip, and then a big hill.
Another hill. Yeah, a very baby dip. And then we got psyched out by the Camino again.
Yes. But we're in Galicia now.
Yes, we are.
And the signage
is great
in Galicia is very nice. It's well taken care of. It's very evident of which way to go, which you just mentioned, Deacon Dave. And it also gives you the countdown to how many kilometers you have left until Santiago.
Yeah, we have less than 170 kilometers left.
Yes.
And I think we're going to be well over 500 miles
when
we get done with this trip.
Yes.
All in with everything that we walk while we are here.
Yes.
And I was going to say something. So Galicia, everything is very clear, right? And all the signposts are very clear about what direction we should be going in. But sometimes, in our spiritual life, like in Asturia and some of the Basque country, the signage isn't so good that we're getting from even from God, right? It's not really very clear.
Right.
And so we have to pay more closer attention to the messages and what God is trying to tell us. Otherwise, we might miss them.
Yes.
Which that's happened quite a few times, right? We've missed a sign or something that's covered by grass or whatever. But here in Galicia, every single monument is where it's supposed to be. They're all cut around so you can see
Oh
them.
yes, they're well taken care of.
They all have mileage on them. They all have arrows and proper little Camino shells on
Yes.
them. And there's no problem at all with any of that stuff.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, sometimes that's the way it is.
Sometimes we have to be patient and just continue to just wait for something to be revealed to us.
Yeah, I think this is like discernment, right?
Yes,
and,
yes, yes.
And I think sometimes it gets to a point where we might feel like we're wondering a little bit, but God is actually preparing us.
Yes.
And then we get to where, okay, here are the very clear signs for where I want you to go
Yes.
today.
Yes, yes.
So for the last couple of days, we've had this sort of like a Russian salad as a part of the menu del dia. And the bread has changed, right? It's like a round piece of bread
Yes.
that they cut into like quarters
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
And so that's been different with a really thick crust on it.
Yes. Yes.
So it's very interesting. And the bridge that you can't see from where we are is called the Bridge of Saints. Lisa?
Yes.
It's over there. You can't see
Oh
it.
yes, we walked over it yesterday.
Yes. And the Bridge of Saints, I think there's a church on either side, although we didn't see either church, I don't believe.
I thought we might have seen a church, but I thought it was closed.
I don't remember.
Yeah, me neither. That was
But-
so yesterday.
That was so yesterday, and we're almost on to tomorrow. And there's some fascinating things going on out here on the beach. They're digging a big trench, but Lisa and I, we're going to get in the water again because we love the water.
Yes.
And it's like, I think sometimes even in our spiritual lives, Lisa, we're afraid to do something because we think it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's going to be
Oh,
cold.
for sure. Yes. Yes.
But in reality, like when we've gotten in the water every single time, although it's a bit breezy out here today,
Yes.
it's actually been warmer when we've gotten out.
Yes. Yes.
Although I am right, the reason we're doing the podcast. So when we got down here, I said, Lisa, let's go sit in the shade and chat for a few minutes. So I'm getting her body temperature. I'm making her colder. So maybe I'm actually helping you.
I don't know. It's now it's breezy over here by the water.
Right now you're getting more chilled, but now your body temperature will actually be closer to
Closer
the
to the
temperature
water.
of the water. So
Yes.
see, while I act like I'm not doing you a favor,
You
I'm
actually are.
doing you a favor.
Yes. Yes.
Not.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Any other things?
Oh well,
from
today we had a surprise hill.
Ooh, the surprise hill.
Yes,
Tell
we had
us
a
about this.
surprise hill. So we went to the end of the route, and we kept telling everyone, "Okay, we have like 0.1 miles
to go.
And then we, like Deacon Dave mentioned, we have a taxi pickup to take us back to the hotel. So when we looked up the location of the pickup, it was some albergue, and it turns out it was like a
1.2
mile.
miles away.
Yeah, it was over a mile away from the stopping point. And so we're like, okay. Yeah, and so we're walking downhill, and we saw a hill in the distance, and Deacon Dave said, oh,
We don't have to go up there.
we don't have to go up there. And lo and behold, we did. It was about a 300-foot climb at the end of the day, and it was quite challenging. But sometimes that's how our spiritual life feels, quite challenging. And so that's when we can lean into God instead of leaning into our own self-reliance. And today we helped each other by doing a little interval training.
We
getting up
stopped
the
in the
hill.
refuge,
We
the
stopped in the
shade.
refuge of the shade, and that's where
Right.
Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to take refuge in Him during challenging times, and just keep moving forward. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of encouraging and helping today in going up that hill, and then the other hills as well.
Yeah.
Which were very difficult and steep. Yeah, the Camino del Norte is not a joke. It is not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
It has been a challenge in a lot of different ways. And I think, you know, when you start connecting 20, 30 days together like
Yeah.
we are now,
Yeah.
I don't know what day we're on, but we're probably on like 26
30.
of walking. I mean,
Oh, okay.
of actual
Probably
walking.
28 or so.
Yeah, so we've been
27.
walking for a whole month almost
Yes.
of actual days with only a couple days off. And even on our days off, we've been walking.
Yes.
It can become really mentally and physically challenging from day to day, depending on what's going on.
Yes. Yes.
I just never know which body of mine's going to show up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or you just have to get up and wait and see.
Yes. Yes.
So we're really excited to continue to kind of bring our journey to you. But now, I think, Lisa, unless you have anything else, we're going to go get in the water.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm Deacon Dave.
Only person Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.